Hi guys, I would like to share with you part 1 of Foods Bad for Memory Retention, Revealed. On the previous video, I was able to share with you the good foods for memory health. I know you've been loading up on colorful berries, nibbling on nuts, and dining on salmon. All good moves if your goal is better brain health. But what about foods that might raise our risk for mood or memory problems, especially as we get older? See this photo? Do you want this kind of brain? A brain that is too tired or too sad? There are a lot of junk food ingredients that are damaging our memory and are found in a lot of surprising items all over our grocery store. Find out which potentially problematic items should make fewer appearances on our plate or disappear altogether for us to have an energetic and happier brain. So hold on to this video and watch up to the end to know which foods are detrimental to our brain. First, fast food burgers. We all know that fast food burger isn't good for our health, but millions continue to enjoy it, laden with salt and preservatives, deep fried and loaded with unhealthy fats. Our favorite fast food burger isn't doing our overall health any good, and even detracting from our brain health too. Eating a diet that includes a high intake of fast food burger can lead to the development of symptoms of anxiety and depression. Many people have experienced periods of hyperactivity after eating fast food, owing to the types of preservatives that could be included in their meal. Although fast food burger might contain some protein, the fat in the burger and the processed nature of the buns do more harm to our brain and body than good. Second, butter and full-fat cheese. These dairy products are full of saturated fat. The creamy taste comes at a cost. Followers of the MIND diet avoid butter, cheese, and other full-fat dairy. What foods are linked to dementia? Bad news for cheese lovers. This one tops the list. Pizza and cheese are the biggest sources of saturated fat. This saturated fat clogs our brain vessels, just like it clogs our heart vessels. Higher saturated fat is linked with inflammation of the brain, higher risk of stroke, and impaired memory. Growing evidence seems to link saturated fat to lower cognitive function and both short and long-term memory. Unsurprisingly, cheese is loaded with saturated fats. Diets that are high in unhealthy fats correlated with increased risk for reduced memory and increased inflammation. These fats also injure the hypothalamus, which helps regulate body weight. A damaged hypothalamus can increase a person's risk for obesity. Reducing your cheese intake is a significant way to protect our brain's functionality. Studies have found that these people consume higher amounts of trans fats. They tend to have an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, poorer memory, lower brain volume, and cognitive decline. Trans fats may be associated with impaired memory and a risk of Alzheimer's, but the evidence is mixed. Cutting out trans fats completely and increasing the unsaturated fats in our diet is a good strategy. When it comes to brain health, lower fat dairy is generally the healthier choice. We can get it from milk, yogurt, cottage cheese, and other dairy foods in low-fat forms. An alternate is to use brain-healthy olive oil, as diets rich in monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids may decrease risk of dementia. Third, cakes and cookies. Cut down on carbohydrates. Consuming large amounts of refined carbohydrates, like cakes and cookies, may be damaging to our memory. These foods have a high glycemic index, meaning the body digests these carbohydrates quickly, leading to a spike in blood vessel levels. Another study demonstrated that adults who consume ready-to-eat breakfast cereal daily had poorer cognitive function than those who consumed cereal less frequently. Cookies, cakes, and everything else in the junk food realm might taste unbelievably good, but they can have serious health consequences. A diet made up mostly of sugar and processed food promotes inflammation in the brain, which can lead to short-term memory loss. The fats known as trans fats are used both in processed food and in restaurants, often to improve the texture, shelf life, or flavor. They are created when hydrogen is added to vegetable oil to make it more solid, which is why they are often called partially hydrogenated oils. 4. Donuts. These tasty treats are both fried and loaded with sugar, a bad combo when it comes to brain health. You can get an inflammation double whammy from the deep frying process and excess sugar. Studies have linked high levels of sugar in the blood with dementia. Even worse, most donuts contain trans fats, another ingredient our brain doesn't need. Donuts are among the worst foods we can eat for our body and our brain. So pretty with their frosting and sprinkles. These lovelies have a dark side with their saturated fats and sugar. The saturated fats in donuts can actually damage the blood-brain barrier because donuts are loaded with cholesterol. They can help pave a path to cardiovascular disease. High blood cholesterol levels have been linked to the development of Alzheimer's disease and can prevent the brain from getting the important nutrients it needs for optimum health. Finally, as if it wasn't bad enough, the high sugar content of donuts and other sweets can lead to memory problems and cognitive deficiencies. Fifth, bottle dressings, marinades, and syrups. Read the ingredients on the label carefully. Many of these products have surprisingly large amounts of high fructose corn syrup. That's the same stuff that's in the soda. It's linked to a variety of health problems, including memory loss and a decline in brain performance. Try mixing up your own salad dressings instead. Too much of the sugar known as high fructose corn syrup can impact our ability to think. The study shows that consuming high fructose corn syrup causes brain inflammation, impairs memory, and actually slows down learning. 6. French fries and other fried foods. People who eat a lot of fried processed foods tend to fare worse on tests that measure their thinking skills. The likely reason: fried and fatty foods. These guilty pleasures cause inflammation, which can damage the blood vessels that supply the brain with blood and hurt the brain itself. While many people are aware that eating fried foods like French fries can negatively impact health, they might not know that eating food like fries twice or more each week can increase the risk of mortality twofold. Concerning brain health, French fries with their unhealthy trans fats can disrupt the brain's cognitive functions. After eating fries, people may experience a decrease in their ability to focus and comprehend information. Studies have shown that diets high in trans fats can lead to poor memory, reduced processing skills, and poor comprehension. A diet high in fried food, red meat, processed meat, baked beans was associated with inflammation and a faster decline in reasoning over 10 years, which then gives us to the next food, which is 7, hot dog. What would a baseball game in the stands without a hot dog to enjoy between innings? According to the medical community, hot dogs, while they taste great, are not great for our overall health, and certainly not for our brain in particular. Hot dogs are the kings of processed meats. Processed meats are loaded with horrible additives like preservatives, an abundance of salt and sugar, and even dyes. Your taste buds might fancy a hot dog with relish, but your brain does not. Eating hot dogs and other processed meats are associated with an increased risk for brain tumors. The nitrates contained in hot dogs are also linked to various types of cancers like leukemia. It's a good idea to eliminate this food from our diet. Processed foods contribute to excess fat around the organs, which is associated with a decline in brain tissue. Additionally, this may increase brain inflammation and impair memory, learning, brain plasticity, and the blood-brain barrier. 8. Red meat. Meat is high in saturated fat, which is bad for our health as well as our brain. Studies found that the most important dietary link to Alzheimer's disease appears to be meat consumption, with eggs and high-fat dairy also contributing. Just like saturated fat, it clogs our cardiovascular system, the blood vessels in our brain. Skip foods that cause memory loss, like beef, and make beans the center of your plate instead, which is a great source of protein, saturated fat-free, and packed with brain-boosting B vitamins and magnesium. Want another protein source that's better for your brain? Fish and lean poultry are also healthier options. On my next vlog, I will be using and showing you more which drinks and foods, most especially fish, are bad for our memory. Stay tuned on part 2 of this blog. Please also check the description below for our health trainings to feed our brain. Bon appetit! Hope you will like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching the memories of your life.